Hi, and welcome to the Milsurp channel. I'm sorry about the lack of videos lately, but I've been working extra, and plus it's been raining about every day, so I haven't been able to make it out to the country and get some good shooting footage with the videos. So I know just the old tabletop videos get kind of boring. But I do want to address something kind of important today it's kind of off the subject of Milsurps, but it still needs to be addressed. I do kind of, even though I mainly focus on Milsurps, it still is a gun channel, so I want to address this. Collectors, hunters, sports shooters, and tactical shooters all need to kind of stick together when it comes to Second Amendment issues. Collectors say they may not worry about laws being passed. You're not going to affect my collection. My old Milsurp rifles, but policies have affected, like embargoes have affected our ability to get ammo. And even things like bringing M1 carbines and M1 Garands back into the country. We've had President Obama even say stupid lines like, "We don't need these weapons of war out on the streets." Where I don't know, I don't see anybody holding up a liquor store with the M1 Garand though. Plus with the CMP's requirements, it's going to be very hard for a felon to get a hold of an M1 Garand or an M1 carbine. And these 1911s that we're supposedly supposed to get through the CMP, I don't see that happening anytime soon, because that still has to be signed off on by the Secretary of the Army. And when the NDAA was passed last year, we had no Secretary of the Army. We finally do have one now, but he really isn't going to sign off on anything that the president's against. And then also we have hunters. Now, not all hunters are what you call FUDs, but FUDs are the guys who say, well, they're not going to do anything about my shotguns or my bolt-action rifles. States have already tried lead ammo bans. I'm not sure if the one in California was successful or not. The EPA wanted to try it, and I think that got thrown out, luckily. But lead ammo, that's your main hunting ammo. And also, how long is your scoped rifle, instead of a hunting rifle, it's going to be called a sniper rifle, and that's going to be banned or heavily regulated. So, like I said, we all got to kind of stick together. And also, to me, with the Second Amendment issues, you also got to be cognizant of the other Bill of Rights. I mean, you can't just be gung-ho for the Second Amendment, but not care about Fourth Amendment. Like, hey, I support the Patriot Act. I support people getting searched without their consent. You can't be against the First Amendment. That's freedom of religion, freedom of assembly, freedom of speech, and we've had that trampled on a lot lately. I can't say you're for the Second Amendment while we have a presidential candidate right now who even though he may have been kind of talking hyperbole when he said it, but talking about registering people of a certain religion. I don't want my guns registered. I don't want my religion registered in Washington. So you got to protect all the Bill of Rights too. And I don't say all amendments, because I think the 16th and 17th Amendments could go. These were amendments passed to increase the power of the federal government, which was not in the Founding Fathers. They didn't intend that. So this brings me to this current election. Now, to the audience I'm speaking to, I don't have to say why. Hillary Clinton's a definite no. I mean, there's no explanation for that. I mean, she's one of the most anti-gun candidates ever to run for the presidency. So I really don't need to do any explaining there. Then also we have Donald Trump on the Republican side. This guy I know the NRA just endorsed him, and he's been saying some of the right things lately, but he supported the assault weapons ban in the past. He supported waiting periods. He still supports the Patriot Act, which goes back to my wanting to protect the Bill of Rights. I mean, Patriot Act's a huge affront to the Fourth Amendment, and I've also mentioned how he wants to, he's talking about registering Muslims, which to me that's an affront to the First Amendment. So even though he's been saying some of the right things, he also said, well, I'm willing to deal. And I'm in no way supporting Hillary Clinton when saying this. I'm going to preface that by saying this, but I almost think that she would be less dangerous than him, because at the very least, Republicans tend to, Hillary Clinton is kind of a galvanizing aspect for the Republicans, and they may actually stick together to oppose her. Whereas if another Sandy Hook happens again, I can see Trump maybe willing to deal or whatever to get something else passed, and going John McCain or Toomey on us, and getting some magazine capacity bans or assault weapon bans going. So I don't trust the guy. I mean, to me, Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump are the same thing. I mean, they're both New York liberals, just one saying catering to the right now. So you have those two. So this basically leaves us to a third party. Now I know what everybody says, it's a wasted vote, but you know what? If you keep voting for people that you can't stand, that's a wasted vote. I've been able to vote since 1996. I've always voted Republican, but that's probably going to change this time around. And with enough people against Trump and Hillary, because I mean, even though all the coverage has been the chaos in the Republican Party, there's a lot of Bernie Sanders supporters pissed off at Hillary Clinton at how the Democrat side has been run, and the Democratic convention may actually be more chaotic than the Republican convention. But I got off on a tangent there. But we have a chance for a third-party candidate to pull high enough in the polls to maybe even enter the debate. We haven't had that since 1992 with Ross Perot, and you know what? I remember I was in early high school, but I remember Ross Perot's 30-minute infomercials that he paid for, and his pie charts, and a lot of the things he said. But a lot of things he said turned out to be correct. I mean, the guy was pretty prophetic. He made the main debate stage. He didn't win in '92, and I know a lot of people will say, well, he cost George H.W. Bush the election. But as a Second Amendment guy, George H.W. Bush supported the Brady Bill. He supported the assault weapon ban, and that alone helped the Republicans gain the Congress in 1994, and we wouldn't have had some of the reforms of the late 90s, I don't think, if George H.W. Bush was president. So, really, and again, George H.W. Bush, Bill Clinton, there really wasn't much difference there. So, again, we're back to the third party, and we got to choose wisely. Now, once the Republican debates started, and my guy was Rand Paul, and my second choice was Ted Cruz. But once I seen that Rand Paul was kind of getting pushed off the side, he wasn't getting any airtime, I started kind of watching the libertarians, and of course, I've always heard of Gary Johnson, but I kind of refuse to vote for Gary Johnson. I mean, it seems like to me the only thing that guy cares about is marijuana legalization. He isn't really big on the Bill of Rights, and he especially isn't for religious freedom at all. And now he's chosen a running mate, William Weld. This guy was governor of Massachusetts, so this tells you a lot right there. And he was a big proponent of gun control. When asked about gun control, he gives typical FUD answers like, well, we're not going to affect your hunting guns. And, the Second Amendment wasn't put there for hunting. It was put there to protect from a tyrannical government. So, who then? Well, there's one guy, he's either tied, or a lot of polls show him leading now, Austin Peterson. This is the Libertarian, I hope he's the Libertarian Party candidate, because the Libertarian Party is going to probably get double digits this time around. And he has a very similar platform to Rand Paul. He is for all the Bill of Rights, all of them. He's definitely the best First Amendment, Second Amendment, Fourth Amendment, Fifth Amendment, 10th Amendment candidate out there. He's been racking up conservative endorsements like crazy. And every time someone's favorite Republican candidate has dropped out, especially like Rand Paul and Ted Cruz, these people have flocked to Austin Peterson. he has a chance to pull high enough poll numbers, I can see him in the debate with Clinton and Trump, unless they somehow block him out. So, and I can also see him maybe even stealing a few electoral votes if he's a libertarian candidate. I have no illusion that a third party candidate is going to win, but I can see him maybe getting 10 or 20% in the election and maybe even stealing an electoral vote or two. My wife's from Nebraska. I usually give her crap about that, but Nebraska has a damn awesome senator in Ben Sasse, and he's already said that he will not support Donald Trump. Austin Peterson's the Libertarian candidate. I'm not going to put any words in Ben Sasse's mouth, but I can see him maybe backing Austin Peterson. I can see some of these Liberty senators maybe backing Austin Peterson, and helping him out in the general election. So, to me, he's by far the best candidate. But the thing is he isn't the Libertarian Party candidate yet. So what can you do? Their convention is this weekend, and what I ask is to please read up on Austin Peterson. If I've wet your whistle on him, please read up on him, and if you like him, write your state's Libertarian Party or write an open letter to your state's Libertarian Party candidate delegates, and email this to Austin Peterson's campaign team. They aren't going to release the names of the delegates. I mean, for you want people's personal information released, but write an open letter to the delegates, send it to Austin Peterson's campaign team for your state, and they can probably get that forwarded on to the delegates. That's the best I can say. And let's just hope like hell that Peterson wins the nomination this weekend. If he doesn't win the nomination, I'm going to have to write in somebody. And since the Republicans haven't taken this seriously, the Democrats haven't taken this seriously, and if Austin Peterson isn't the nominee, the Libertarians haven't taken it seriously, even though we've had two of the worst presidents in history the last 16 years, I guess I'm not going to take it seriously either. I'm going to write in Dave Mustaine. Hell, listen to Washington is Next, United Abominations, Endgame, Dance in the Rain, Peace Sells. Hell, he'd make a better president than at least the two major party candidates running right now. Again, sorry I'm kind of off the normal subject. I promised to get back to gun reviews and teaching a little bit about history. That's kind of what I like. That's why I like Milsurps. I like history. I like guns. So, as soon as I can get out into the country again and get some shooting footage going, I even got a new shooting glasses camera so you can see what I see when I shoot. So I'll add some of that footage in too. But I'll have a couple of French Moss videos coming up, 36 and 4956. I'll have a Winchester 1866 clone video coming up. Now, I say clone because I don't have $5,000 or $6,000 to get the real thing, but this kind of has a libertarian tinge to it too. The 1866 is a very important rifle, a very historically important rifle, and I'll go over that. And also I'll have maybe a sporterizing opinion video. My dad has an old sporterized. He didn't do it. He just bought it for a cheap hunting rifle, but he has this old sporterized 8mm Persian Mauser. And I might go over, what I think about sporterizing. Hint, it's the devil's work. But and I'll have maybe a modern gun come up, but I'll leave that secret for now. So as soon as I make it out to the country, I'll have a few more shooting videos. Thanks for those of you that watched. Thanks a lot for watching, and I hope you have a great day. Thank you.